of Parliament. This is a committee on appointments. It's a constitutional and statutory committee, grounded also in the standing orders of Parliament. It's a committee that will interact with you to assess your suitability or otherwise in going to the office of Cabinet Secretary, to which the President has nominated you as Cabinet Secretary for East African Community Affairs and Regional Development. This committee is chaired by the Speaker of the National Assembly, yours truly here. On my right is my Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Gladys Boss. On my left is the Clerk of the National Assembly, Samuel Njoroge. At the background there are part of our support staff. I'll now invite the members of the committee to introduce themselves.
Naisula Lesuda, MP Samburu West.
Junet Mohammed, MP Suna East.
David Kosing, MP Pogost.
Mary Mase, MP Teso South.
Abdul Rahim Daoud, MP Northi Mentimeru.
George Gitonga Murugara, MP Tharaka Nithi.
Owen Bayer, MP Kilifi North.
Robert Mbui, MP Kadian.
Stephen Mule, MP Matungulu.
Didoraso, MP Saku.
Abdi Shurie, MP Balambala, Garissa County.
Mishimbako, MP Likoni.
Rehab Mukami, County MP Nyeri.
We have some other MPs who probably are on the way. We've seen the weather is not very good out there. You are Beatrice Askul Moe.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Have I pronounced your name correctly?
Yeah, it's called Beatrice Askul Moe.
Moe, yes, correct. Welcome once again. You will interact with us on oath. So I'll invite you, depending on your faith, to take the Bible or the Holy Quran or the Holy Book of the Hindu religion. Which one?
The Bible, Mr. Speaker.
Bible. So be upstanding, take the Bible in your right hand, and recite the oath that you will be shown.
I, Beatrice Askul Moe, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matter under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. You may take your seat and sign to the oath. Documents, give them to the sergeant to pass them on to the clerk to cross-check whether they correspond with what is in our possession. Having done that, I'll now invite the Deputy Speaker to be the first to ask you. Sorry. I'll invite you, Beatrice, to introduce yourself to the committee and to the country. People are watching. Tell us your name, your educational background, your work experience, and any key competencies that make you feel you are suitable for appointment to the office as Cabinet Secretary. In 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm called Beatrice Askul Moe. That is my current marital name. Previously, I used to be called maiden name Beatrice Askul Nakusa. Both are my names. First and foremost, I would like to really thank God the Almighty for speaking to the soul of our leadership to consider me in this appointment. And my thanks goes to His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Ruto, for feeling it better for me to be the person appointed for this opportunity to serve this Kenya, if appointed. Currently, I'm married. I'm a mother of 3. Back to my personal status and education. And before that, I will speak how I was born. I'm born in Lokichar, Turkana South Sub-County, Turkana County, in a place called Kapese. Kapese is family known for the oil block, Block 10BB. If you remember the Talo exploration thing, that is the area where I was born. By the late parents, mom and dad, may their soul rest in eternal peace. Thereafter, I went to Lokchar Mixed Primary School. After finishing my class 8, I was called in St. Joseph's Chepterit Girls High School in Kapsabet, Nandi County. I started Form 1 up to Form 3. Reaching Form 3, by then when we were called, there was special allocation for girls who would join provincial school or national school within the county in terms of the needy ones. I was privileged to be one of those who are considered when I was called at Chepterit Girls High School, Kapsabet. So I enjoyed the privilege of being supported by that fund up to Form 3. I don't know what really happened. When we were now reporting Form 4, it was too unfortunate that we were told the fund has come to an end for political reasons. By then, being a student could not even tell what it is to be political in disconnecting your future. So that is what happened. A number of us were affected. Number of students that were supported in the alliance schools, big schools, national schools were affected. So what finally happened was I sat home. I stayed home for 9 months, and it was simply because I had no way out. Because even as we were in school primary, we were using the school feeding program to support ourselves. Because that is when I had a school feeding program, I always know what it means to be fed to go to school, or to go to school in order to get food. Now along the way, you get advantage of getting to school, or even to learn. So after that, I felt like I can't wait anymore. I had to register myself privately in Kitale High School, one of the schools in Kitale, just to finish. So after finishing, I had shortly to join Oxfam as a food relief monitor, just to make ends meet. I only did that for 1 year. And then thereafter, I decided to go to Kobuje Social Development Training Institute, where I did my certificate. And all this was because the government institutions were less in Turkana. There were more of churches, institutions, and non-government organizations. So any training you would go realigning with the opportunity around the place. And the opportunity was to serve either in a church institution or to serve in an organization that is an NGO. So after that, I had to get a job. After the training of the certificate, I had to be employed with Amref. That other experience, I'll not speak about it. Okay, thereafter, I went to Catholic University of Eastern Africa. I graduated. And then thereafter, I had to do my master's degree in governance and ethics. It is at graduation level. I have finished theory. I have cleared, only that I'm waiting to graduate. Now, on the side of experience, I worked as a relief food monitor with Oxfam. After my training with Kobuje Development Training Institute, I joined AMREF Research Kenya, AMREF Kenya that a program that was dealing with livestock and eye dirt disease. And it was basically in the northern part of Turkana, by then the greater Turkana North. And then thereafter, I was able to be appointed in the Rift Valley Water Services Board as a director. The first attempt was, I was interested to really getting into the nitty-gritty of development in terms of what is going on within the management. So I happened to be picked as the chair for audit, which I served for 1 year. And then thereafter, I managed my way to become again the chair for technical, because I really wanted to influence policies and the things that would really work out something different in Turkana, because I had a better ground of what it was to benefit from government institutions. So thereafter, I was able now to join county government of Turkana as a CEC in charge of water, agriculture, irrigation, and reclamation. And that was then the bigger ministry in the entire, though thereafter they had to split it and even have two chief officers and are working under one CEC. So thereafter, I now became free to, after that I became free to join, to listen more on political happenings of the country. So I was close, I was in ODM, so I was following things around the party. Up to this moment, that is what I can say.
Thank you, Beatrice. I'll now invite the Deputy Speaker to ask you the first question.
Thank you, Mrs. Moy. Kenya's arid and semi-arid lands have suffered documented historical marginalization. Currently, there's a lot of attention on climate change and climate resilience, and therefore, the docket to which you're nominated, the East African Community, the ASAL region and regional development, is actually at the center of this. If approved, what is your vision in respect to this historical marginalization of those areas, and how will you help steer that vision of ensuring that there is climate resilience and more speedier development in those regions? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, Madam. It is true, arid lands where I belong, fortunately, Turkana falls under arid lands, has suffered many years of marginalization, and I tend to believe I saw that happen because I was present and I'm present where these things were being done. The marginalization that is coming to these arid lands is specifically on the stereotype and the information and the media that has reflected us in a very negative way. I also know we've never benefited. The arid lands have never benefited. Sorry to speak like this because I am also an arid person, so I've been a victim of these things. So sometimes when I say I mean the circumstances through which I also grew is relevant. So what we need to do right away to make sure this marginalization and everything else is working to the realization of climate resistance is incorporating the arid lands, the policies, the people, and everything else into negotiating, talking, and then have their issues raised in a way that it will finally come to the ministry at headquarters for policy influence. The pastoralists actually are the most that get effects of drought. They get effects of drought. They lose animals. They lose socioeconomic activity. They totally get affected out of this climate change. So by incorporating them into the bigger plan of the ministry, they will be able to speak from what they know, and they will be able to get better attention and better resolutions to the effect of this drought in a manner that would actually make them cope with what they are going through all the time. And also making sure, because it is one of the areas that is more affected in terms of receiving the impact of climate change, they need really to be cushioned in a way that they will be able to survive around these areas because they can't go away. That is their home place. That is where they know better. So by incorporating, it means we go and get homegrown issues that would be captured within the policy level. And even when we are talking of cushioning them during the drought, actually that would mean whatever that is supposed to be for them must be taken down to where they can feel and utilize it. So I feel the policies that are supposed to enhance climate resistance, the ability to cope, should actually incorporate, be from the top, down, down, up, so that at least there is that movement up, down, incorporating themselves.
Majority Leader, you've just come in. Are you ready to ask a question? Go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. Just for the benefit of the nominee, my name is Kemani Shongwa. And Beatrice, I see you have a very rich background in social work, and you also mentioned you worked with Oxfam as a relief food officer. And I'm certain you know part of your work in this ministry will involve the procurement and distribution of relief food. But this is one area that has been riddled with a lot of malpractices, especially the procurement and distribution. I'd want to hear what you would do if you are approved by this committee to ensure, one, that we have a very accountable system of procurement of the relief food and how it will be distributed on the ground to make sure that it gets to the right people, not benefiting government officers who are charged with the responsibility of distributing it. Two, I don't see in your CV and your work experience any experience touching on trade matters. And you know, the EAC docket with the East African community, trade is very critical. And part of the problems we have encountered in the recent past is having the government of Kenya not being present to negotiate on behalf of the country with the EAC countries. And we see an influx, especially of agricultural products, from onions from our neighboring countries, potatoes, at times maize, farmers in the south and north